Welcome to Manifesting Through Motherhood. I'm your host, Lindsay Williams, a self-development mentor, entrepreneur and author, dedicated to helping busy mums like you manifest success, balance and create passive income on your terms. With years of experience in mindset, manifestation, fitness, parenting and business growth, I share simple yet powerful strategies to help you transform your life without the overwhelm. If you're ready to up-level your mindset, build a thriving business and create the life you truly deserve, you're in the right place. You can also find all my books on Amazon, packed with tools to help you manifest and grow. So don't forget to follow the podcast to be updated on all new episodes. And let's get going. Welcome back, ladies. How's everybody doing? Well, I don't know about you, but the sun has been shining. I feel so much better. I do love cozy evenings, but I'm not going to lie, I've just felt like I've needed that sun, that little bit of, it's completely lifted my mood. I feel like sometimes we're just in the house a lot, we can get cabin fever. I am so cold all the time. I just wanted to just feel that warmth, and it's so grey, but this week the sun's been shining in the salon, so I feel so much better. And I feel like it sparks that little bit of motivation into doing something, even just going out the house or starting something new. I mean, even like going networking, I'm like, I don't fancy doing anything in the evening, going out when it's dark and, you know, going out on the motorway in my car. Because I feel like I just want to be at home, and I've just been watching Love Island and now that's finished. I'm like, yes, so it's time for us to think, like, what's next? Like, got March coming up now, and I can't believe like January, February's just gone like that. So what goals have you achieved? And I wanted to just touch on something as like us starting something, you know, before we feel qualified. So like you might be thinking of launching a podcast or writing a book or just doing some journals. It's a really good time now. Like you can access my Masterclass. It tells you how to, you just make some journals and planners and earn a bit of money for you through Amazon, or you can sell the books. That's why I'm going to be working on some different front covers and maybe like just changing things up again and just fully immerse my brand into the pink, because I've got like different coloured books out there. It's very unlike the pinky pastel like tone, but I just want to make sure that I've got the right products out there. I've got my big book Manifesting Through Motherhood, but I've also got other planners, so I really want to focus on those in the next couple of weeks and getting those out there, because I know they're really useful. I make them and use them for me, and like I was laying in bed last night, I did my gratitude and I did my manifest. So even though I did it for today, I did it in bed late, about 11:30 last night. So what are my intentions? Because what it did, I went to bed to think about what are my manifestations for today. It kind of like anchors what I want to focus on for the day. It might just be something in my business, it might be some health goals, but I feel like if we anchor it down and we commit ourselves, then we can focus on it. And like I've said about the habit stacking on the last episode, just focus on a couple of things at once. So I don't know how you've been getting on. I've had a few messages saying they've been like looking at different habits. Sometimes we're not in the mood to do it, but we all know, because if you're listening to this podcast, you definitely either way into self-development, want to improve self-development, or you might be at the beginning of your journey for self-development, because self-development, we can all fall backwards and get a bit slack on it, me included, because life happens, we're busy. But like I've said in the past, if we've got something there as a guide that we're doing every day, like getting up in the morning and just making those like finer tweaks, then we feel better. Like this morning I've got up early, I've recorded this podcast because I thought I was going to do it last night, but I was busy, and I was up and I've done my hair, I'm up, everybody's like up, and I'm up a bit earlier. I'm going to have some breakfast, I'm going to get my nails and eyelashes done today, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to record now. I was going to do it tonight, and I was like, I'm ready, everybody's calm, the house is chill, because I'm not stressing, I'm not rushing, we're up, we're ready, we're chilling. I don't have to do the school run yet, so I'm like, I can do this podcast and speak to you guys. But sometimes when we're looking at setting up like a business or something, sometimes you might think, oh, I can't do that, I've not qualifications. Well, when it comes to like publishing a book and podcasting, we don't need qualifications. These are two things that I haven't got the qualifications for. And I did a social post yesterday, I'm saying like all my reports at school was like, she was like a serial yapper. But you know what? Where are them teachers now when I'm doing the podcast, I'm doing my business? I'm not slogging on my feet every day, doing something that I don't want to do. So even looking and reflecting back on something, like, I won't say it was completely negative, because from a teacher's point of view, back in those days, they weren't looking at learning styles, was they? They were just, she's disruptive. I wasn't disruptive, but I know now that my brain was very active and I needed a different way of learning. But I got through school, and I did my business, my hair and beauty. I went straight into doing that. So I was able to get on my course, and I've done so many qualifications since. And even though I've not done a qualification in podcasting, I know someone who's at university doing this at podcasting, and I'm like, why? I self-taught myself. It is about experience, and I always say practice what you preach, and practice makes perfect. I think that's one of my mottos, because you've just got to do it, and it's took a few years to pick up the momentum and keep going, and that's what you've got to do. I see loads of people that launch a podcast and then they have massive gaps in the podcast and they change their name. People don't know whether if they're coming or going. Like, mine's just been consistent now. I'm growing it. And it works well with my salon, because my salon clients listen to the podcast. Sometimes I'll gain clients through that. So, I can promote my podcast free in my salon and sell my books. So I'm growing it all the time. And I think everything's just flowing really well. But sometimes we massively underestimate our knowledge and transferable skills. You might not have done anything since school for years and think, well, I haven't been to school for years. I haven't done my GCSEs. It's been, well, if you're same age as me, 43, it's a long time ago. But we're running households. We're looking after our children. We're paying our bills. Of course, we can learn something new, and confidence grows by taking that action. So if we start something, around lockdown is when I started looking at all this and doing it. And I thought, you know what? No, I'm not paying £1,000 for someone to teach me to do all this. And this is why I've got my £44 courses that you can just access if you didn't want a one-to-one with me, because I want you to be able to access something for you to learn something new. I'm not going to give you a qualification, but you don't need it, because I guarantee you can set your own podcast up. It doesn't cost a lot of money. I go through that on the Masterclass, just to have your horse, so you can keep it out there every month. But it doesn't break the bank at all. And we've all got laptops. We can actually record on our phones. There's so many different ways that we can do something, because we have the tools now. We don't have to go to libraries, do we? We can do everything on our phone. We know how to do like stories, and because we don't we're not a lot of us are shy now online. We're like putting so we know if you're doing influence work, then doing a podcast would be so much easier for you to just start doing. And there's always a myth of you need to be an expert. And I was a bit because I had a lot of podcasts I listen to, like I've said, they always seem to be American, they always seem to be clean cut. And it kind of put me off. And I'm I'm not going to be doing it in a studio. I've got my own little studio at home. I'm a busy mum. I don't want you to expect total perfection with me. You might hear a bang, you might hear a hoover or something. I try and make it as professional as I can. But I want you to know that you don't have to be perfect, because I've still got my listeners, and I've still got people that are tuning in and give me amazing feedback. So just start somewhere, even if you're just doing it as a hobby, something fun for you to do. You know what? You'll grow your main character energy straight away. As soon as you do it, your confidence inside, even if it's something for you. And of course, you're going to start messy. Your first podcast, everything, first product, first post. I cringe at some of the posts that I look out there and I think, oh, my grammar was awful. But I think I was just a lazy. We did when you look at old Facebook posts we used to put out there. Everything is run through AI now, so they're picking it up. So there are actually people that are checking your posts. The ones that have got the AI element to it are actually getting more reach. I've noticed that. So it doesn't always have to be a certain way. We just need to stop listening to other people. Another thing is fear of judgment online. Of course, we're going to fear what people are going to say. I still do now. When I put a post down, they might think, but you know what? I don't care. If you don't like me, you don't listen to me. That's all I can do. I can't change the way I speak. I can't change things. I've improved myself on the podcast and the way I talk, and I coach people. And that position myself to start helping people do this as a business. And learning publicly instead of hiding is great, because we can start showing people that we're doing this, we're doing that. So, I didn't have a launch strategy. I just put it out there because people wasn't expecting it. But now I will drip feed. So there is a strategy, and I do teach that as well, about how to just keep it sustainable and think before you're putting anything out there. Because then they've got more longevity if you are doing a podcast or doing a book. Think about who your audience is and who your niche is and what colours. So we think about things like your scheme and how much you want to charge for your products and maybe some digital products as well. If you're doing your podcast, you're looking at like what you're going to be talking about and how, like, especially if you're doing like motherhood podcasts or business. So it's going to be around your niche. I always say stick to your niche, stick to your topic, because you're never going to run out of ideas. If you want to make money, think about the strategy of how you're going to make money. Like, have you got courses now, or are you thinking, so I didn't have anything bar my salon? Well, I can't sell haircuts online, but people started to say, can you teach me? And like, so I've got 2 courses that you can access. I've got my manifestation container. People book one-to-ones with me. We could do that on Zoom, or if you're local to me, we can meet at coffee shops. We can do it in person. So it's just like that manifestation, self-development aspect. You might just want to start off there, and then we can move into the business side. Obviously, I'm qualified in fitness as well, so sometimes people will talk to me and say, actually, I'm fed up with my body, I'm fed up with this, and so we end up, actually, let's take a break from doing this. Self-development starts within and starts with your health. Let's look at your health and your body. Let's start to going from backwards and working up. So you might need a couple of sessions where let's look at your fitness, look at boundaries, let's look at your confidence, because you might be very good at your job, but you've got very low confidence, or vice versa. And that's what it is sometimes. You might look so amazing on the outside online, but inside you're struggling. But there's always something that I can break down, like belief coding. There's like things from back in your past where people have always said things to you. It might be a money mindset. There might be money blocks. There's always something that's always, and we know what those things are. And that's why we're doing the journal where we're writing manifestations down, because we know where we go wrong and where not saying no, our weak spots are. We've all got weak spots, me included. But I've learned to become better at those and just like think, no, I'm not going to say yes to this, because it's not like at the word full bandwidth. Like, there's so much, I can't take anything more on. Sometimes I can't take other people's problems on because I'm looking after my own mental health. So sometimes we step back and just think about us for a little bit. And sometimes we're looking at other people, like, oh, they've got a podcast. You might want to do the podcast about manifesting and self-development, and that's fine. I will teach you how to do that. You might be interested in what I do. So there's room for all of us out there, because me doing this, I've built an income around this, and, it doesn't need to replace what you're doing. I love my home beauty. I'll not stop doing that unless I have to. But I'm building this around it. My salon is my sanctuary. It's my place. I can talk, I get therapy, I give therapy, and this is like something around it that doesn't take as long. Yes, there's people out there just doing this full time, but they get complacent, I see, and they don't show up all the time for their audience, and they can get it. I follow podcasters, and you don't really hear from them anymore, and yeah, you will on the podcast, but I reply to people, I speak to people, and I'm very much involved with my listeners as well, and I help them as much as I can. So just like thinking today, like, how can you create some like income? Like, what can you do? Like, so there's so many different ways. Like, I've got my ads on my podcast where I can make money through those. So you can get private sponsors that come through. But ultimately, it's growing. It's your shop front this. It's like growing you and what you want to do. But keep doing what you're doing as well. So I think sometimes, even if you're a little bit unhappy in your job or what you're doing, sometimes you can actually bring a bit of joy back to your job, because actually sometimes you might not hate your job. Sometimes it might be you're just feeling a bit like, I just feel like I can do something else. And I think if you're a manifesting generator like me and you've got a bit of an ADHD brain, what we tend to do is have multiple things going on, income streams, because it's not because we're jack of all trades. It's because our brains need to be doing. I run on dopamine. I like to learn and like get things out there all the time. So my hairdressing just keeps going. But the podcast is different every week. I love it. It expands, it grows, my listeners grow. It's all over the world. And so I just think, how can I keep monetizing that? So it is, but don't think about that when you are starting something new, maybe a podcast, or even just like starting a small business. Think about the bigger picture. Sometimes we're looking at other people and think, how can we do that? How can we do that? It's not about that. It's about looking deep down. How can we really turn this like little bud into a flower of what we've got? That's by just going networking, looking at your visuals, looking at your brand, improving your talking skills. There's things like that. And everything will just come together. Like, your podcast is your personal brand. So just be careful what you are saying online. Because obviously that will be there forever. You don't know what's going to happen, how it's going to blow up your podcast. Being visible, you don't have to be dancing around on reels, working on evergreen content. Now I'll talk about things that I'm on the podcast, but I'll also talk about things I'm on in my current life. And that's fine, because you'll listen, people might listen to this in a year and my life's changed completely in a year, but I still want to give you that personal element of me and what I'm doing, because that's what you're here for. You follow me on social media, so you see that, and I think that gives you that personal touch. And like we do with celebrities, we'll listen to podcasts and we kind of know what's going on in their personal life. I actually listen to podcasts and I've never even seen the people online. Or I do tend to actually look at the faces, because I like to put a name to the picture I'm listening to. So there's so many different ways we can start thinking about how we can start just moving forwards this month, and think, just because it's like coming up to March doesn't mean we can start thinking, I want to do a podcast or set up a little business. Set up something for you. Could be any type of business. It could be a cleaning business. It could be ironing business, a massage business. We can start. This is what I help people with, setting up your business, even doing it from your own accounts. And like, I do everything myself. I don't have I struggle to give people things to do, because I know I'm faster than people. So if I found someone, I need somebody like me, I'm better. So I would find it really hard. And eventually I probably will do. But you know what? The reason why I don't yet is because I'm really good at time management. I have everything planned out. So like I couldn't get people to cut people's hair like me, because that's me. People pay for my skills. So it's the same. If I can run that, of course I can do this as well, because it's only 1 to 2 episodes a week. I've planned it, everything. We spend so much time scrolling on our phones that actually we can put that to good use. So even if it's just jotting down today, looking at a business idea, and this is how we start manifesting. It starts manifesting in a way, it starts growing like that flower, it starts opening up, and then you're branching it out. Think of like the branches and how we're going to like take it to the next level. And that's how the confidence grows, and we end up manifesting what we want to do. So anyway, I'm going to go now. I've got to go and do the skill run. So let me know if this sparked any interest or any ideas for you. I'm like, yes, actually, I wouldn't mind doing a podcast. You could just do a podcast. You don't have to tell people you're doing it. Just put it out there. And that could just be your baby, your little something for you. And sometimes it's cathartic, it's very therapeutic when you're doing this, because you can kind of get things off your chest. So yeah, anyway, have a great week. It's just been a crazy week. I'll be doing another episode this week, so I'll catch up with everybody. But yeah, overall, it's been a positive week. I've been doing my fitness, I've been working on my skincare, just been looking after that. So that's the thing, isn't it? The sun's coming out a little bit. You want to look at your skincare and make sure your eyebrows are nice and fresh. Sometimes just plucking your eyebrows, tinting your eyebrows can make you feel so much better. And I've been putting those little eye masks under my eyes. So yeah, I'm just noticing a few little lines coming through. So I'm like, right, I want to just make sure I'm like drinking plenty of water. I'm looking after me. It doesn't take long. I just sit and watch TV with those on at night. I know Rachel will be listening to this, and she loves a self-care, and she looks into really chucks herself into that when she's not feeling well. Because a lot of my listeners at the minute are going through flare-ups and they're messaging me, and this podcast is keeping them going. So I'm so glad that the content is keeping you a little bit motivated, because there's always an end to it, isn't there? Like when we're feeling unwell and in pain, in a couple of weeks we are feeling a bit better and we can actually focus. But when we're not well, sometimes just put everything down, just forget about it, give it a couple of days, 3 or 4 days, we tend to start coming around a little bit. And that's what I do when I have flare-ups with my fibro. So, but yeah, anyway, I will speak to you soon, and have a great day and happy manifesting. If you're feeling called to go deeper, to align more, create more, and really step into that next version of you, you'll find everything you need in my linktree. From my book, Manifesting Through Motherhood, to powerful resources and ways we can work together. It's all there waiting for you. Come and find me on Instagram or Facebook. I love hearing what landed with you. Don't forget to follow the podcast, and if this episode spoke to you, please share it with someone who is on their own journey too. And happy manifesting.